Here is a theory by me about Poppy Playtime Chapter 3. Huggy Wuggy was the villain of Chapter 1 and Mommy Longlegs was the villain of Chapter 2. MatPat predicted that Catbee would be the villain of Chapter 2.
But kicking us off in Chapter 2, I believe, will be Catbee. Why? Well, because as much as there are references to all the other toys throughout the factory, Catbee's the one that has an active part in this chapter of the story. After getting the storeroom tape, we see a conveyor belt, which is covered in Catbee parts. Once we crawl through the vents, we end up at an assembly line, where we then proceed to activate and create a Catbee toy. The others have all been background characters to the chapter, but we actively create Catbee, which seems like a metaphor for the humans creating monsters, and that points me in the direction of Catbee being our next big bad.
He was wrong. And then in MatPat's recent Poppy Playtime theory, he started to say Bron was going to be the villain.
Also worth pointing out that the gas mask at the end of the teaser is red and yellow, exactly like Bron the dinosaur's color palette. No other toy we've been introduced to at this point matches that coloring, so it does seem like an odd coincidence. Like, again, it's purposefully trying to hint at Bron's importance in this upcoming chapter.
And in Chapter 2, Bron says,
"What do you call the scariest dinosaur?" Me.
Implying that he is going to be the villain or one of many villains in the next chapter. Then, MatPat said this.
In short, all the signs are pointing at Bron being the toy that we're gonna face next, which is why I don't believe it. I suspect that this might be a big misdirect on the part of Mob Games. I think it's theory bait. It's meant to get little theorist fishies like me interested in the hook, and then I get lured in and served up on a platter.
MatPat also said,
Mob Games' strength really seems to be flexible characters, things that bend, feel softer or rubbery. I mean, Kissy Missy trying to pull this switch in the middle of Chapter 2, not only is it hilarious, but it also just shows the strength of the team's animation of softer, stuffed characters. It is a huge and welcome departure from the monster designs of a certain other indie franchise that's dominated the scene for the past 8 years. Bron is hard, he's heavy, he's robotic. Again, pushing away from the monster aesthetic that's worked so well for Poppy Playtime up to this point.
More than likely, Mob Games is going to make Bron the villain of Chapter 3. I also think the order of the characters in the Chapter 3 teaser supports this theory.
There is nothing more gratifying to my soul than being the reason for a child's smile, to be the spark that ignites all their hopes and dreams. We owe everything to these children. This company and its toys are nothing without them. That is why it is with enormous pleasure that as the founder of Playtime Call, I announce Playcare, our very own on-site.
More theories coming soon.